Welcome to a new episode of Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid Ahmed. In this episode, I'll be talking about gratitude because gratitude is something that we cannot have enough of. With a gratitude based mindset, you will always come up on top because you are thankful, you keep your mind clear, you keep your thoughts pure because you're always thankful for what you have in life, for what you have access to. And all of us living in the great United States or any country that has a large number of services available to the people, we are living in a very luxurious time and space because, to tell you the truth, there are several countries out in the world that have it really bad. I mean, really, really bad than all of us. And if you look to the east and you see you can find countries that don't have all of the luxuries that we do. And one of these countries is Afghanistan. Afghanistan has been in a war zone for over 3, 4 decades, maybe longer. They were fighting the war between Afghanistan and Russia for a long time. The United States aided Afghanistan so they could fight the war against Russia. Afghanistan is a beautiful country set up on mountains. It is north of Pakistan and it is the east of Russia. And it is also connected to China, if I'm not wrong. I just might be wrong. I'll have to look at the map. But regardless, Afghanistan is one such country that needs all the help that we can provide, not as a country, but the people that are living in this country, they have it bad. So there are several companies, there are several relief organizations that are providing and bringing the uh, food and clothing and warm clothing, especially now that we're going into winter. It's going to be bad, right? It's going to requires that you have warm clothing, and otherwise, your the survival rate is very low. Anyhow, so what I wanted to talk about and promote is Islamic Relief USA is one such organization that has gone above and beyond in helping and bringing relief all over the world. And they are actually setting up a fundraiser coming up on Sunday. So this Sunday, November 18th, they are setting up a fundraiser that you can go to. And you being the listener to this podcast, and if you're in the DC area, this fundraiser is being held at the Sheraton Pentagon City Hotel. The address is 9100 or 900 South Orm Street in Arlington. This fundraiser and all the funds will go directly to Afghanistan towards getting them warm clothing and uh, food and water. So if you have the opportunity to attend the fundraiser, you have a special discount code just because you are the listener of this podcast. This podcast, Hacks and Hobbies. So you can use the promo code supporter for a 30% discount on tickets. And these tickets are not that expensive, but with a 30% discount, you get even a better deal to attend this fundraiser event. Besides the fundraiser event, they also have a Afghanistan or Afghan culture bazaar. Now we all love Afghan food, there's several restaurants out here in the US, all over the US, and Afghan food with their kebabs. It is one of the most delicious meals that you can find. And you imagine where this culture comes from, where how are they able to create such delicious types of foods? Well, it is this amazing culture that brings us this delicious food. So if we can forward and use our money to help them out in any way, shape, or form, absolutely do it. Besides the fundraiser event, you can listen to great speakers such as Dr. Dawood Nasimi. He's a professor of Islamic studies, and as well as Dr. Nadia Hashimi. She's an author, pediatrician, and a congressional candidate. They'll both be speaking at the event, and they even have a special musical performance, Isar, and he's got some traditional music that will wow you. So if you get the chance to be in Arlington, check out this event at the Sheraton Hotel in Pentagon City. For more details, check out the show notes for the Eventbrite link where you can use your supporter promo code to get the 30% discount and find more details about the event. Now, I have been to several Islamic relief events, and they are well put together, and it is all because of the support of the people that go there and help and provide the organization to bring relief all over the world. All over the world. It's amazing. In fact, few years ago, I even volunteered for the organization in promoting, not only promoting, but helping them out at a booth, and it's been pretty amazing. So, going back to gratitude, it is one thing to say that we're grateful, but it is another thing to have that mindset, to have that in our heart that, hey, look, I've got warm clothing, I've got warm shoes, I can sit inside a car and turn up the heat, can go home, turn up the heat, and stay warm and bundle up, and just thinking about those things, being grateful, right? That's something that not a lot of people in the world have the opportunity or to be able to do. Now, there's many ways to be grateful, and one way is to help others in need. I'm sure there are several other ways to be grateful by thanking the people that got you where you are, thanking your parents to giving you all of the luxuries that you had when you were growing up, helping you to go to a good school, staying on course, and staying true to yourself. Being grateful to the people that help you learn to be a better person by telling them, by showing them with your action, by bringing value to them. And that's one thing that I am absolutely a huge fan of. All I'm looking for authentically is to be able to provide value and bring the knowledge that I have to you. So yesterday it's been a pretty good day. We had our first snowstorm, and today we have bright sunny days shining out. Um, Although it did rain last night, but the temperature rose overnight, and we have a lot of snow that has melted, but there's still plenty of snow around in the grassy patches that is not being driven over. There's even snow on the rooftops. So yeah, it's pretty strange to see snow in November. For the past 3 years that I've been here in the Virginia area. It never really snowed past before Christmas. And everybody talks about the white Christmas, and they actually showcase that in the movies that, oh, we're gonna have a white Christmas. It's so funny. It's pretty cool. I've been used to snowstorm starting even in October back in Colorado. But this was pretty cool. The kids initially had a 2 hour delay, and then that 2 hour delay became a school closed. I'm like, all right, that's cool. The kids can stay home, and we also work from home, so kids got to play outside. We barely had 2 to 3 inches of snow, although it snowed a lot up in New Jersey and New York area. But yeah, it's been a pretty good day. I'm trying to be a daily podcast publisher, but um, there's only so much time in the world. There's only so much time in the day, and there's so much more work to be done. So I'll try my best to have multiple um, daily episodes and bring value to where I can. And that's one of the reasons, I if I don't think I'm bringing value to a podcast episode, I will not record one. I do have a few episodes that I am working on to publish. I had a few interviews past few days, and I probably have 12 interviews that I need to edit and publish. So that's 12 podcasts that I can put out one at a time, one day at a time. But I like to insert a thought, a thought podcast where we can reflect and we can think about what we're learning and how we're applying it to our lives on a daily basis. One of the podcasts that I got to listen to over the weekend was The Superhuman Learning by Jonathan Levy. And this guy is the real deal. And I learned about him through taking a course of his in Super Learning on Udemy. And I learned that he also had a podcast where he's talking to other professionals, other people that are genius like himself. And in this podcast, he spoke with two really great mindset people, and it was a really nice podcast, a really good revelation I had, and I was like, wow, that is so true. And they mentioned how when you wake up in the morning, usually most of the times we have a lot of negative thoughts, and you need to combat that, or you either remove it from your head or do positive affirmations or whatever, or you do something to get out there and get your thoughts cleared up. I just noticed something really interesting, and it's reminded me that one time when I was at the DMV to register my license plates, I saw this plate that said amateur radio. Like, dude, I totally want to be an amateur radio. Now I'm doing a podcast, which is like a radio show, but amateur radio to have written on your license plate, oh yeah, that would be awesome. But I know it's not possible because I don't have an actual radio station. I could look into it, but I just saw a car that said amateur radio KZ4P, and that's the radio station I'm guessing. But how would I dial it into my dial? I mean, I don't have letters to put in, so I'll have to do some research on that. Hey, that's another research item to look at. Now, some of the folks that I got to talk with past week, they mentioned that the hobbies that they wish that they had, one of them wanted to go into photography, some others wanted to go into painting and creating, and others more so wanted to be in acting And I, looked into their background and asked them the questions about their background. And they're like, I absolutely, and the reason they wanted to be in acting or photography is because growing up, they had watched somebody else do this, or they had the opportunity to do that themselves. And those are, some of the reasons why, your hobbies are related to what it is you did when you're growing up at one point in your life. And one thing that somebody mentioned, or I read in a book where they're saying that some of the hobbies or some of the things that you absolutely, absolutely enjoyed doing while you were at the age of 8 and up, 8 to 14, are some of the things that you do, that you work on and spend time because you are so passionate and so in love with this. And when we grow up and grow older, we're taught otherwise to, go into medicine and go into engineering, go into other things that you might want to do. And it just happens to be that, you know, those things that you did are some of the things that deep down inside you still have a passion for. I can't remember for the life of me what I absolutely loved doing between ages of 8 and 14, although I do believe that I was building a Lego set when I was about 13. And this Lego set was a Lego Technic set that I had gotten um, from the United States. I used to live in Saudi Arabia, and we had this Lego set, or I got this Lego set, and it was this huge plane built out of Lego Technic. And I spent my time just building this Lego set. And still to this day, I love building Lego sets because it's so simple, yet it's so intriguing and so powerful. So one of the things that trying to get my son into is also Lego building. And I think I mentioned this earlier. We got the Voltron Lego set that was just released a few months ago. And my son's been watching Voltron on Netflix for the past 4 years. So when this Lego set came out and I discovered it, I was like, I am absolutely getting it for him. And being a Lego VIP member, I was able to pre-order it ahead of everybody else. Now, what's crazy is that a lot of people also started selling the Voltron set after a few days for a cheaper price because they had done building the Lego set, they got their pictures, now they want to sell it. And they were actually selling it for a lot cheaper. But when I had pre-ordered mine, or pre-ordered for my son, I pre-ordered two of them. I was like, one I can sell on eBay, and number two, my son can build it. But I ended up selling the number two to my good friend, and he's a huge Lego buff as well. And he was like, "Whoa, what? You pre-ordered them? All right, I'm buying it from you." I was like, all right, sure, no problem. So I ended up giving him the Lego set. I mean, selling it to him for the price that I paid for it. He was happy and he shared the photos with me as he was building through, and I was like, man, I'm so jealous because I didn't get to build it. I didn't get to help my son at all. He built the whole thing himself. So yeah, I'm a huge Lego fan and absolutely love their work. And something that I realized or was I was looking into some Lego history, and they were talking about how the very first brick that was molded back in 1970s will work just fine with all of the latest sets that you can buy now. I was like, that is amazing, literally, right? Um, and what's interesting is that they keep adding new bricks. So they add new bricks, but they keep the specs exactly the same. So all the blocks fit together. But these new bricks have new specs, and that's where Lego Technic is different. And able to have the axles and gears and all those things. It's really amazing. I still have maybe 15 different Lego sets that are still boxed. We have not opened them because I want to create a Lego space in my basement so where we can take out the bricks, work with them, create the creations, put them up on a shelf, and then be good to go. But I just have not had the time to do that. Hopefully, one of these days I can make that happen and bring it about. So, question for the audience: do you have a Lego set that you're, uh, or do you have a hobby that you wish you had the opportunity to do or take up on, or are you a Lego fan as well, or are you a fan of movies? What is your favorite hobby, and why or how does it make you feel on a daily basis? Would love to hear your answer. You can post a comment on this podcast episode's um, post, or you can respond to the post on Facebook about this episode. And yeah, totally excited to hear from you guys. Thanks so much for your time and your support and your care. We will talk to you soon. Till the next episode.